Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Allie, or Wavy Curly Allie. I'm a healthy hair enthusiast just here sharing my tips and tricks on how to help you love your hair as it is naturally. And before we jump into today's videos, which you're all here for, I did want to address my style. It is a little bit softer, looser, fluffier, voluminous than normal. It is because of what I used. I used the Lush Love Your Curls all-in-one formula. I actually did the 3-step system today. So the shampoo, conditioner, and then there's an all-in-one formula. I have the wavy and curly. There's also a kinky and coily. I have a side-by-side of me using these two. I'll put them here so you can kind of see the difference. But I used these starting a long time ago and I love them. It's great for refreshing, just adding to water or using it to style. So it just gives me a very nice, soft, fluffy, voluminous result in my hair on the wavy and a little bit more curl and structure with the curly. It's just a bit more hold with this one. So I wanted to shout them out because that is what I used today. They also came out with a scent-free line, which I'm so excited about. I do love the perfume smell on these, that classic Lush scent, but not everyone can use a scented product, especially healthcare workers, scent-sensitive people. If you have a man in your life that is looking for a curly range that doesn't want something that smells like perfume, these are awesome. I also have an affiliate code, which I will put here if you want some money off your next purchase. So shout out Lush, love you guys. They have not sponsored this video. I'm just mentioning this. All right, so without further ado, let's just jump right into today's video. Here are my top tips and tricks for episode 3. Tip number 1, let's say you want to get a curly cut, but maybe you want to try to save a little bit of money or save a little bit of time or both. A little trick that I like to do, mostly because I don't like how others style my hair. I am very particular about how I style my hair, but also I really like to save the amount of time it takes to get my hair done. I have bleached my hair before to blonde and it takes hours in the chair, and coloring it is just something that you can't really save time on. But with cutting my hair, I've noticed that if I only book my hair for a cut and not the style and can just style it myself, then I'll do it, because it goes from about over an hour with the cut and style versus 30 minutes to just have it cut. So I'm in and out super quick. Also, it saves me some money. Now, this won't be the case for everybody, and definitely don't try to penny pinch your stylist. You have to pay them for what they're worth. But for my stylist, I do get a little bit of a discount on my cut by just getting a cut and not doing the style. So we're cutting off about 50% of the appointment, and there is a little bit of a reduction in cost because of that. That won't be true for everyone, so that's something to look into before you ask for anything like this. Just see if it is something that they offer, but if anything, it does save you some time. So I book my appointments first thing in the morning or on the weekends so that I do have time to go home, style it how I want to style it. And I do, fortunately, save a pretty penny by doing so. Tip number 2, adjusting your Invisibobble to fit the width of your hair. So for many of us, twisting it around just once is too loose, but twisting it around twice is too much. Or maybe twisting around twice is too loose and 3 times is too much. Depending on the width of your hair, this is different for everybody. So for me, what I like to do is something called wrap, twist, tuck. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen me demo this before, but I'm going to show you right now what I like to do. It's very simple. So get your hair up on top of your head wherever you like it. You wrap it around your hair, twist it to the width that works best for you, and then tuck it in to secure it in place. Simple as that. Tip number 3, shrinking your Invisibobble back down to size. Since I just put this in my hair, I stretched it out a little bit, but let's give it a really good stretch to give you the perfect example. Now, I've seen a lot of people do this with boiling hot water. So they actually boil water and then drop this into a bowl, a cup, a container of some sort to get it back down to its original Invisibobble size. Now, these will go back down to size on their own, but it's nice to be able to get it to snap back to size if you want to put it in your hair right away. So what I like to do is just use heat from my dryer. I've also realized that you can just use really hot water from the sink and that'll help bring it back down to size, but this is absolutely the fastest way to get it back down to size. So what I like to do, I take the diffuser head off of my diffuser, and I'm going to show you up close. This is what it looks like. It's kind of stretched out, twisting in on itself. I'm just going to drop it in my diffuser bowl, and I'm going to take high heat, high speed on my dryer and blow it in here. I'm putting it in here because I don't want to hold it while it's getting really hot and burn my hands. So high heat, high speed on the dryer. And there you have it. Shrunk right back down to size. It's definitely warm, so you might want to give it a second, but easy as that. Tip number 4, using pin curling or finger coiling to fix wonky pieces in your hair. So let's say it's wash day or refresh day and you just got some stubborn pieces or a piece right around your face that's just driving you absolutely nuts, going in every which direction, just does not look the way that you want it to. So I like to either pin curl or finger coil that piece of hair. So I think a lot of this depends on the curl pattern that you have in terms of which method you'd like to use. I prefer to finger coil it. 1, I find it a little bit easier and quicker, and 2, it matches my pattern a little bit better. But if you have more of a 3+ curl pattern, again, I'll put the chart here so y'all know what I'm talking about, then you might want to consider pin curls. So essentially what you do is you take that stubborn piece of hair, let me just see if I can find a piece of hair, and you'd pin curl it. So that essentially just means you want to pin it up. So you can just kind of twist it up any way that's easiest for you. Typically at this stage, you've dampened your hair and put a little bit of product in it before you twist it up, and then you just use a clip, a bobby pin, whatever, to hold it in place. A bobby pin works nicely. I just happen to have one of these on hand. Y'all know I don't really like these because they snag in my hair, but just pin it down so that it's forced into this shape, and then by the time it's dry, it will come out as a curl. Now it's much more of a spiral curl, and that doesn't always look the best on me because my hair is a bit of a softer wave, but depending on how my hair dried that day, I might do it that way. Otherwise, the other option that I like to do is simply just to finger curl it. So, or finger coil it, whatever you'd like to say. I don't know what the term is. So dampen that piece of hair, and then I just twist it in whichever direction. So I've noticed for me, wherever my ends point, that's the direction my hair wants to turn. So I will just wet it, twist it up, and then scrunch it, and then it will dry in a more even pattern with the rest of my hair instead of having a straight wonky piece in the front. Tip number 5, double diffusing to speed up drying time. Now, I think this one's kind of funny, and it seems like one of those really goofy things like, oh, that's a good idea, but then you don't actually ever try it because it seems a little silly. But I promise you this does speed up drying time, and I do it pretty frequently because I'm always pinched for time. So if you have 2 diffusers or 2 dryers, this actually works really well. So I'm going to credit Curly Green Eyes on this one because she initially gave me the idea to do it. She hammock diffuses, which is what I do. As you all know, I have a full video on how I do it, but she hammock diffuses. So essentially your hair is collected into a microfiber towel or a cotton t-shirt to kind of lift it and lift the weight from your strands. And again, I'm not going to get into hammock diffusing. You can watch the video on exactly why I do it, but your hair is collected into a towel, and then you have a diffuser rested on a tabletop, on a counter, on the edge of your bed, whatever, and you have it pointed at your hair, and you're just kind of moving your hair in front of the diffuser. This helps me get some really nice shrinkage. If you're looking for shrinkage, it helps me with my wonky ends, but I really like to do it for that reason. But she actually did it where she had 2 dryers and she turned both of them on and faced her at the same time. Now I do this where I will hammock diffuse my hair, but while one is resting on a counter, I will be holding the other one up. So I have the Xtava dryer, which you all know. I think this might be getting discontinued because it's been out of stock for so long, but this is the dryer I have. It matches my Xtava Black Orchid Diffuser head, this thing, so there's no question that it's gonna fit. So I just bought them together a while ago, but I do also have this Revlon dryer. So there's a mini hack within this hack. This dryer, and I would test this on your own, has a very low pressure speed. So when you hit the low setting, it comes out very gently, but it gets really nice airflow. So what I'll do is with this one in the diffuser, with the diffuser attachment on it, I'll have it laying on the counter and it pointed at my hair. And this is so lightweight. Without a diffuser on it, I will just hit the spots on the back of my head to help dry my roots while this is hitting the mid-lengths of my hair. So I'm getting my roots and my lengths at the same time. Yes, I know this sounds obnoxious. It sounds like a lot of work, but I promise you guys, it's just shaved like 10 minutes off my dry time. So I've sat in front of the diffuser before for like 20 minutes and been done because I have 2 dryers going. I do also have to leave a disclaimer here. I do this just in the doorway of my bathroom and my bedroom. So I'll have one plugged into my bedroom and one plugged into my bathroom so I don't short a circuit. Because I have done that before by having too many devices plugged in. So I will put these on in different rooms so that they're running off of their own energy source. So if you want to go that route, I'm just throwing it out there. It is a tip or trick or a hack that could work for you. So give it a try if you want to shorten your dry time or if you are in a pinch to do your hair one morning. Tip number 6. If you are a fan of neutral protein filler, but you have issues with getting the drops out at a slower flow, sorry, I have to say it that way, don't open the cap all the way. So I learned this trick through somebody on Facebook in one of the random groups on there, but I looked into it to see who to credit it back to, and I think Wavy Curly Courtney did something on this. So I'm going to tag her here as the original source because it was the furthest dated back that I could find. And essentially, if you use this, you only need like 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 drops in whatever product you're using. I choose to use it in a rinse out product. I do not like to leave this sitting on my hair. This is chock full of protein, which my hair loves, but I don't like to leave it in my hair. I just don't want to risk any damage by protein overload or anything. I get it in with my deep conditioner and I rinse it out. So I use this in a rinse out product, but essentially a lot of people have issues with this coming out too quickly because it's runny like water. So instead of opening it up all the way, you actually just open it up about half. And it slows it so you can actually count the drops coming out instead of being like, is enough gonna come out? Too much is gonna come out? Open the cap halfway. Tip number 7, pineappling your hair with a silk or satin scarf to prevent dents in your hair. So I have more recently started doing this because I just sometimes when I have these really soft results, it dents very easily and I don't like to use any form of silk scrunchie or Invisibobble because just the elastic band even within the silk scrunchie can just cause too much tension in my hair. So you could just do the Invisibobble, the wrap twist tuck, or you can use a silk scarf. So I actually have this one. This is an upcycled scarf, meaning that this is excess silk material that was repurposed to create another scarf. So leftover silk to create a full scarf. And this was from Annahmol, I believe, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm going to tag them here. I think it's awesome that they're doing this. So this is one that I have and I've had for a while. It's giving me some, what is this, like 90s vibes with the flowers on it. But I love this. It's super light, it's super thin, but it holds perfectly in my hair when I sleep. Now, I'm not a silk bonnet type of person. I can't have something over my head and my ears all night long. It drives me nuts. So this is kind of a happy medium for me because it's not covering the entirety of my head and my hair is still out a little bit. So what I like to do, I'll try to demonstrate this for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to take this silk scarf. I have it folded into a triangle. So just fold it to a triangle and then I'm going to flip my hair upside down and wrap it around and I'm going to attempt to show you and try to get it on the screen. So take this long part here and put it behind your head. And then right around your forehead, you're going to twist it twice. Okay. And then I'm going to just go around the top part where my hair is up here and tie it. Now you can tie it around here, you can tie it into a bow, however you want to secure it. I normally just make a little bow because, I don't know, it doesn't matter too much to me what it looks like I'm sleeping. And I just kind of bring that down, or you can tuck that in if it bothers you. You can leave it flipped over your hair if you'd like. But this is super loose. This opening is nice and loose for my hair to move somewhat freely in that it's not confined to one space like it would be in an Invisibobble or in a silk scrunchie that has the elastic band on the inside that can cause some tension and create the denting in your hair. So this is another option, a nice wide hole for your hair to go through and not cause any dents. Again, I'm going to tag the silk scarf maker here and go check out her stuff. Again, this is Upcycled Scarves. Tip number 8, how to get your hair out of your face when you like to side part. So I like to have my hair parted in the middle. I also really like to have it side parted because it gives me the look of a lot more fluff and volume. But the problem is it falls in my face and that drives me nuts. I actually think I might have done this as a tip and a trick before, but I needed to do it again because I do have another option in terms of keeping your hair off your face. So the first one, and I know somewhere, some point in some video I've talked about this, is a Zazzy band. So this is a headband specifically designed to help hold your hair off your face, but not create any dents in your hair when it's pulled back. So it's shaped like sunglasses. It's got some curvature here to hold your hair. Essentially what I like to do is just take that piece of hair that's flopping into my face, bring it back, and put it in. It's nice to do that, but if you don't want an entire headband on your head because you just want to pin back this little piece, the other thing that I like to use, I don't like to use bobby pins. They snag in my hair, but they also create dents in my hair. I like to use this tiny, tiny, tiny little claw. And to put it into perspective, this is the small version of a goody claw. Mine's broken, but you get the point. This is the mini, mini, mini one. And I like this because these tiny little claws hold that tiny piece of my hair back, and it's easy to conceal. So if I want to put it in, I can nice and tight secure it to my head, flop a piece of hair over it, and you don't see it. So if you don't want a headband in your hair and you do just want to clip a little bit of piece back, that's a great option, and it's easy to get in and out without snagging in your hair. Tip number 9, learn about your hair before you go and buy a bunch of products. So knowing your hair porosity, width, density, all of these things will help determine the types of ingredients and products that will play well with your hair. Oftentimes you'll see hair like mine or someone else's that looks like yours, but it actually is a bit more specific than that. Your hair might be low porosity while mine is medium to high. So my hair might really love protein while yours is going to need more moisture. And based on the products that I use, they may be a little bit heavier in protein to satisfy that quality of my hair, but that wouldn't work as well for you, if that makes sense. There are several ways to determine this. They're not foolproof. I've said that a million times, but there are some home techniques that you can use to figure this out. If you're curious about those, go watch my Main Bio review. It was a hair analysis that I had done, but I actually talk about in detail some of the home techniques to determining hair porosity, width, and density. But for the sake of keeping it super simple for some of the newbies out there, there are texture quizzes online. My go-to has always been the naturallycurly.com texture quiz. I have that linked in my Instagram bio, but I will also link it below to make it very easy to find. It's a quick quiz to click through. Once you get that information about your hair, you can refine your search if you're using Google. If you're in curly girl groups on Facebook, they tend to have files and albums that are labeled by porosity and will help you best determine the products and ingredients that will play well with your hair type. And tip number 10, if your hair is in a total funk and you cannot figure out what it needs, what's going on, maybe it's protein overloaded, maybe it's moisture overloaded, maybe you're overloaded, clarify. Just clarify. That may seem like such a simple, common answer to give, but it's true. You want to clarify your hair, get everything off of it that might be causing any trouble. It could simply be product buildup so that your products are not performing at their best because there is a film or residue from all of the stuff that we've been using. Clarify your hair. Traditionally, when I clarify, I like to follow it up with deep conditioner. I add a couple of drops of my neutral protein filler with the cap half open to measure it out appropriately, and that is kind of my reset wash. Clarify, deep condition, move on. Now, if you don't have a clarifying specific shampoo, what I like to use is apple cider vinegar. Most of us have this in our homes. If you don't, go get some because this is multi-purpose and has a lot of good health benefits to it. So I have the Heinz all natural, unfiltered apple cider vinegar with the mother. That's important. That's all the good chunky stuff on the bottom, but that gives you all of those good benefits of using this product. So there are plenty of recipes out there. Explore, experiment to see which one works best for you, but I like to do this and then I'll follow it up with a very gentle shampoo and a deep conditioner. I really like to shampoo after because I just really want to get the smell out of my hair. But it's totally by preference. Everyone has different methods to doing this. Just look it up. ACV to clarify. And then, as always, I like to finish this up with some bonus tips. So I've got 3 things to mention today. I don't know how much they are really like tips, tricks, and hacks. I guess they're more so tips than anything. But a couple of things that I wanted to mention is I've been thinking back about my hair journey, wearing my hair in its natural state for the last couple of years. I've been reflecting a little bit and I wanted to just share some information that has been useful and helpful for me in my journey in simplifying things. So the first one is don't buy all the products. You don't need to buy all the products. Like I had mentioned previously, learn a couple of things about your hair in terms of the porosity and the density, the width. Having coarse hair can change its needs. These things matter, but by learning that, buy some staple products and stick with them and focus on application technique. This was probably the biggest thing that I did in the beginning stages of my journey, was that for the first 9 months, I used the exact same products and just focused on how I applied them. So am I raking product in? Am I using praying hands? Am I roping product in? Am I using a variation of all of them? Yes, but it took me to experiment throughout the 9 months to see what worked for me. There is no right or wrong answer. You have to just experiment and figure out what works best for your hair. So don't buy all the products. Focus on application technique. Get a couple of staple things. Your wallet will thank you. Bonus tip number 2, try a product more than once. Try it more than 2 times. Try it more than 3 times. You need to try it different ways with different things, with a little bit less water, with a little bit more water. You can kind of see the trend of my bonus tips today. It's kind of all about experimenting, but don't just try something one time and give up on it. So I made that mistake early on in my journey. I used a specific conditioner. It felt way too heavy for my hair. I didn't even feel like I used that much. It just felt awful in my hair. I set it aside. I actually used it on my son for a little while. It worked great for his curly hair. And then I came back to it and ended up loving it. Of course, your hair can change over time, so that could have been a factor, but also learning about my hair and how I apply my products, even down to my conditioner, has made such a difference in making more products work for me. So kind of goes back to bonus tip number 1, but bonus tip number 2, don't try something just once, twice, or 3 times. Keep experimenting with it because you might be able to make it a holy grail item by just trying it different ways. And tip number 3, if you're just starting out on your journey, do not get hung up on protein moisture balance. I beg of you, do not. There are a million other things for you to think about and worry about, and it's overwhelming, and there's all these really crazy, goofy terms to learn. Don't get hung up on protein moisture balance, because hair that is transitioning can exhibit signs of both. That doesn't mean it is both, but your hair is going from, at least in my case, a very damaged state. My hair was bleached. I had straightened it for over 15 years. It needed help and it needed to be revived, but it constantly looked over moisturized. It looked like it had way too much protein in it, just based on the descriptions that other people were giving me. And quite frankly, sometimes those descriptions just don't help. You just have to learn what your hair feels like when those things happen. So again, if you don't know what protein heavy or moisture heavy ingredients look like in your ingredient list, use isitcg or curlsbot.com to plug in the ingredients, copy and paste it over into this website. It will tell you exactly what is a protein and what are moisturizing ingredients, what are humectants, was it CG approved, all of that good stuff. Again, covered that in my last video, so go check that one out. All right, you guys, that's it for me today. I hope that this has been helpful. As always, if you can, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions or you have your own tips and tricks, curly hacks, share them with us below. I'd love to give them a try. We all love to learn from each other, and that's what I'm here for. So let me know what you'd like to see next, and I'll continue bringing you all the videos that you love the most. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.